All right, whenever y'all are.
Good evening. I'd like to call the September 13th, 2021 meeting of the Jackson County Board of Education to order. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance tonight. All members are present. We'd like to call Morgan Byers forward. She's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Next item is approval of our minutes. So minutes from the August 9th meeting have been circulated. Any additions or corrections? I guess here none. All in favor to approve the minutes? Or do I have a motion to approve the minutes? So I have a motion, to have a second? Have a motion and a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Next item is going to be approval of our agenda. Agenda is before you. Any members wishing to modify the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve? So I have a motion to approve the agenda. May I have a second? All in favor? That's unanimous. Next item is superintendent's comments. So we'll move it on to Dr. Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Clarsey and members of the board. And I want to welcome everyone here tonight. We're delighted to see a crowd. Especially want to thank Morgan for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And it is a beautiful entry into our first recognition and celebration this evening. And I think you're an East Jackson Elementary School alumni, right, Morgan? So today we're going to be highlighting East Jackson Elementary School. Each month, our board takes privilege to be able to see what's happening in our schools. And prior to the pandemic, we were visiting schools, but to take a little pressure off our schools, we decided to bring the schools to us until we're through some of the other things that are happening. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Allison Pennington and Dr. Scott Emmert, who are the principal and the assistant principal at East Jackson. I don't know if you want to step to the podium and introduce the video. That would be fantastic. And they have sent something that involves our students, and they want to share that, but I'm sure they have a few words that they'd like to say first. So thank you all for being here. We are very proud of the work happening at East Elementary. So give us some highlights.
First of all, we're extremely excited to be here and highlight our awesome school. And like we were talking today, we would love for our students to be able to speak for themselves, and we found a way for them to do that without bringing them here. So first we want to tell you a little bit about our journey to kind of where we got with our presentation tonight. When we were preparing to open East Jackson Elementary School for the 21-22 school year, we started talking a lot about what tone we wanted to set. We'd been through a lot last year. There were some changes on the horizon, and we wanted to set a certain tone when we opened our doors. So with new staff members in key positions, we had a lot of kids coming back from being at home and doing digital learning last year. We wanted to make sure that everyone was on the same page. So we wanted to ensure our community that we were going to provide a fun, a safe, a caring, and academically rigorous environment for our students. We also wanted to show our renewed dedication to the 7 mindsets and bringing that into our school. So what we decided to do is we started talking about theme, because it's our tradition to start our school year with a theme every year. And we decided this year to kind of build it around a text, a book, because that's how we like to start our first day of school, is everybody does a read aloud. So this year we chose this fantastic book called I Promise. And we spent a lot of time on the first day of school talking about our promise to our students and having our students talk about their promises on how they were going to conduct themselves as students throughout the year. And it was a great start for our first day.
So in order to ensure that we had a continued focus on providing a very rigorous educational experience for our students, we recognized that we also had to address the whole student. everyone has been through a lot the last couple of years, and especially our kiddos in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. They haven't really had the typical educational experience we'd like for them to have. So we wanted to make sure that we were addressing all the social emotional components. So using the I Promise book, and for everyone back here, the I Promise book written by LeBron James, we really use that as a platform to build on the foundation of the 7 mindsets to ensure that each of our students felt loved and respected and comfortable being able to take the educational risks that are necessary for students, not just to survive in the educational setting, but really to thrive. And so we have really built in our building and to continue to foster an environment where our students can feel like they're loved, can recognize that they are seen as smart, intellectual learners, and that they're there to be loved and to learn.
So when we sat down to decide what we wanted to highlight tonight, there's so many amazing things going on in our school that we really had a hard time trying to choose just one. So we decided to let the staff and students kind of tell our story. So we turned it over to our amazing media specialist, Miss Ashley Wheeler. And we brainstormed kind of what we wanted, and then she took it and ran with it, and then she finished the presentation. So when we were getting it ready for today, what we realized that this really isn't a presentation, it's actually more of a statement. It basically is a statement that says that we are an educational institution where rigorous academic instruction matters. We're a school where kids matter, and ultimately at East Jackson Elementary School, we are a family.
I love it because it is so lovely. I love East Jackson because there is so much support all the time. Our staff is full of amazing educators that will do whatever it takes to see our students succeed. East Jackson is family. I love East Jackson. I love East Jackson because East Jackson has a great sense of community, whether that is the people that are out of our building and people that are inside of our building. And having that sense of community allows us to all work together to come together for one goal, and that is to foster a lasting and rapid education that we can for our students. I love East Jackson because it's fun, and my teacher makes fun stuff for me. I love East Jackson because of the amazing staff and teachers. I love East Jackson because my teacher loves me. I love my East Jackson family because we do whatever it takes to help each other. I love East Jackson because my teachers really deliver to us. I love East Jackson because of the people. The faculty, staff, students, parents, our whole community works together so beautifully to form a family. I love my EJ and my family because they are kind and understanding. I love East Jackson is because it's a place where relationships matter. We care about our kids outside of school, we care about each other, and it's a place where everyone can work and learn every day.
Thank you, Dr. Emmert, and certainly, Ms. Pennington, thank you both. This is Dr. Emmert's first official board meeting with us in his role, and so I want to welcome you once again to Jackson County. We're thrilled that you're here, and makes East Jackson a place everybody would want to be, so thank y'all very much. The next item on our agenda this evening is the Rotary Student and Teacher of the Month. We are delighted each month to be able to welcome each of our 2 high schools to be able to honor our Students and Teacher of the Month. So I'm going to start at, did Mr. Wester make it, or did you hear from Mr. Wester? Okay. Oh, there he is. I didn't see Mr. Wester. All right, great. I didn't see you come in. I was concerned. If you will join us at the podium and you introduce our Student and Teacher of the Month from Jackson County High School.
Well, good evening. I'm very excited, as usual. This is the best part of my day. Well, one of many great parts. One of my favorites certainly is to be here tonight to acknowledge the excellence of one of our students at Jackson County High School. We have so many to honor, but Caroline Weatherly is our Student of the Month for the Rotary Club, and we're so grateful to have her. You have to come a little bit. Give her a hand, please. And Caroline is the daughter of Rob and Rebecca, and we're grateful to have them here with us as well. In fact, thanks so much. And our brothers here too, who had a chance to work with in the past. Great family. And we're grateful to have this chance to recognize Caroline. And I'll let her talk a little about her most influential teacher, which is Heather Hamrick, who's also here with us. Ms. Hamrick, glad to have you with us. I'll let her share a little about her. Caroline is an amazing example to her peers and to our staff as well at Jackson County High School. She is a senior this year, and I counted up, just looking through her transcript, she has taken 12 college-level courses so far in her career, including this year IB Psychology, AP Macroeconomics, AP Government, AP Calculus BC, which is the second AP Calculus course, and AP Seminar, and Honors Physics as well, which is her light course this year, and Honors Human Anatomy. So she's doing a couple of just basic things just to kind of get by. But in addition to that, she's taken AP Lit, AP Lang, AP Calculus AB, A Push, AP Bio, AP World, and AP Human Geography. She's also taken Spanish 1 through 4. She's been involved in our drama club for 4 years. She's in the National Thespian Honor Society. She's in the Spanish Honor Society. She's been inducted into the Beta Club and into the National Honor Society. She's an UGA Merit Scholarship recipient. She is an AP Scholar with honors. She is also achieved an academic letter at our school, and she's in the top 10% of her class. And she does something that I don't think I can handle, and that is she teaches first graders and kindergartners every Sunday on Sunday school. And I don't know if I can do that. That's why I work with high school kids, because that's my group. So she's just an incredible young lady, well-rounded. She contributes in so many ways in our school. She's an example to so many. We're just very, very proud of her, Caroline. Well done. And at this time, I'd like to invite her to talk a little bit about her future plans and also why she chose Ms. Hamrick as her most influential teacher.
First of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Coach Wester, for that introduction. And thank you, everyone. This is a really huge honor to get this and be the first of the year. So moving forward, I hope to attend Liberty University in the fall 2022. And I hope to mainly focus on biology, probably narrow in my study to forensic science, intern in the FBI or something like that. I think I've gotten my love of science definitely from Ms. Hamrick. Definitely from Ms. Hamrick. I remember 9th grade biology very vividly. We had such an interesting class, lots of interesting individuals in there. And it was a huge class too. We filled every desk. But it was never I was never treated like just another student. Miss Hamrick definitely makes an effort to go above and beyond for her students, making sure everyone has an understanding and making connections, which is something I really love. So I like to say that I have fought to spend all 4 years with Miss Hamrick. I took biology, then I took AP biology, and then there were no more classes to take with her, so I had to come up with something. So I took an online science class and said, well, I have to sit with Miss Hamrick to help me. And then this year, I had to TA with Miss Hamrick because I needed another excuse to come hang out with her all day. So she's definitely a part of the family, I think. She's had both me. She taught my brother a long time ago. We just love Miss Hamrick.
I love y'all too.
Thank you, Mr. Wester, and congratulations, Caroline. This is a young lady that we've all seen grow and just thrive. And I want Mom and Dad to stand for just a minute so we can congratulate you. You are a wonderful family, and congratulations to all of you, and Ms. Hamrick as well. Thank y'all. And Ms. Palmer is coming to the podium with some delightful recognitions. I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, and congratulations, Caroline. That was wonderful. And kind of like Mr. Wester said that they've had the brother before. Well, we get Morgan, but in a few years we'll keep Madison. So we've got the family too. So it's always exciting when you have several children in a school kind of go through. So this is Morgan Byers, and she represents East Jackson High School. And her most influential teacher is Miss Linda Frederick, and she'll tell you a little bit about Miss Frederick in just a moment. Morgan is the daughter of Mandy and Matt Byers, and Mandy, of course, is an important part of our staff there at East Jackson High School. And like I said, she's also the older sister of Madison. She is taking a ton of difficult classes. She is dually enrolled at UGA right now, and so she's taking accelerated Spanish and microeconomics there at UGA. She's also currently enrolled in AP Calculus, AP Psychology, Honors Economics, and Mastery Mixed Chorus. She was a part of our chorus group that traveled to Pearl Harbor and performed, as well as the group that performed at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. As I went through Morgan's transcript, she doesn't know that I did this, just looking at the tons of AP classes that she has taken, and I noticed that I had to go all the way back to 7th grade before I found any grades, final grades posted, that were less than a 100. Which is pretty amazing. So she got a 98 in 7th grade somewhere along the way there. Morgan, you've scored a 4 and a 5 on multiple AP exams. Do you remember how many at this point?
I think I'm up to 11 APs, and out of all of those, I've only gotten 2 4s, the rest were 5s.
Pretty amazing. So not only is she taking very, very difficult classes, but she's earning top scores and entering college with many college credits already under her belt. But she doesn't just stop with the academics there. She's also very, very involved in many other activities. She is our Beta Club president. She is the president of our chorus. She is on our student council leadership team. She's a member of the Jackson County student leadership team. She's a member of the literary team, a member of the 21st Century Leaders, which is an Atlanta-based leadership nonprofit, which she may want to tell you a little bit more about in a moment, and also our Science Olympiad team. She's a part of our varsity cheerleading squad. She has been a semifinalist in the Georgia Governor's Honors Program for science. She is an AP Scholar with distinction, obviously, with those scores, right? She's placed first in International Affairs Public Speaking at the 2020 Literary Meet, and then second place in Domestic Affairs Public Speaking at the 2021 Literary Meet. So many of us avoid public speaking as much as we possibly can, but this child loves it and seeks it out. She also was a first place winner in the 2020 Science Olympiad Meet in Genetics. And if that's not enough, she is also very involved in community service. She is a summer volunteer at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and so I think she may want to tell you a little bit about that too. A summer volunteer at Piedmont Athens Regional, a tutor for STEM subjects, and this young lady has logged over 300 hours of community service during her time in high school. So she is making a huge, huge impact on our entire community. And so I'm going to have Morgan introduce her most influential teacher, maybe tell you a few more things about those organizations that she's a part of, and then let you know what she's planning to do after high school.
So hi everyone. After that introduction, I feel like I have a little bit, it's intimidating. So anyway, I am first of all so thankful to the Jackson County school system. I have grown up in the school system, like Dr. Howard said previously. I was an East Jackson Elementary baby in kindergarten, and I have gone through the East Jackson schools until now, which is such a privilege, and I have gotten to witness firsthand how much our school system cares for their students, not as a population, but on an individual basis. And I believe that is the most important component of a good education for our next generation, because we are going to be tomorrow's leaders. So I'm so thankful to that, and I'm thankful to the East Jackson administration. They have done nothing but support me in all of my endeavors, so that is something that I know is a privilege, and I am incredibly, incredibly thankful for that. So I would like to introduce to you Ms. Frederick, who is my influential teacher, but whenever she texts, she is our beta advisor, so she has become not only a teacher, but she has been my mentor through high school. So I had Miss Frederick in 8th grade for 9th grade literature, and again, throughout my high school career, she has also been our beta advisor. So I've been very active in our beta club, been an officer for years, so Miss Frederick has evolved from teacher to mentor to my biggest cheerleader, and I am so thankful for that. So she is beyond a teacher. She has been my greatest mentor throughout high school. I kind of call myself a dreamer, and Miss Frederick has been one of the people that has pushed me in my dreams and told me that I could achieve all my goals. And I think that's what's motivated me to push harder and push forward to kind of achieve what I want in the future. So I'm so incredibly thankful to her. I'm thankful for the lasting impact she has on our school. She spends countless hours not only teaching AP Lit, which I had her last year for, but also just investing into the lives of her students. And I know everyone you can ask at East Jackson says Miss Frederick is one of their teachers that push them to become the best possible students that they can be. And that is so, so important. So I'm incredibly thankful for her. So kind of a little bit about my future plans. I am interested in a little bit of everything. I just love people. I love to talk, clearly, as you're listening to my long speech. I really want to pursue a career in medicine, so I would like to go into medicine because of the people. I love science, but most of all, I just want to have a lasting impact on our world because, like I said, and like I value leadership is so important, and our students are so important to become that next generation. So I hope to attend Vanderbilt University in the fall. That is my goal. If not, then I will continue my education at UGA as I'm currently dual enrolled there. But yes, I am so incredibly honored to have this opportunity. So thankful for Jackson County Schools for nurturing me into the person I am today.
Morgan, congratulations. Without a doubt, you are full of energy and just watch out world. That's all we've got to say. And as she's going to her seat, I want to ask Ms. Byers, her mom, who we were lucky enough to snag just a year or so ago as an employee. But prior to that, let me say that I think you were the original Eagle Aide. I'm not sure. But Ms. Byers was one of those that you just saw volunteering in the schools, always a solution-oriented mindset, do what it takes and pour into our students. And so congratulations, Morgan. Beautiful family. And to both of these ladies, congratulations. And to this Board of Education, I know that you're proud because I am very, very proud to see what these girls are going to do in the world. So proud of you. All right, the next recognition, I believe, is going to be led by Mr. Nicholson with our Mindset Heroes.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Howard. And man, Morgan, you were intimidated? I'm really, after you and Caroline, I'm exceptionally intimidated. But this is quite appropriate, actually. If you were here earlier, before the meeting, you saw our Mindset Heroes this month. And if you were online, you saw them scrolling through. And I just want to talk a little bit about this evening because I think it really does fit with what we just heard from those two students. And this month, district-wide, Passion First is the theme. It's the second mindset. But I want you to listen to a little bit about what that means. When each mindset has 4 characteristics, 4 qualities, 4 traits that if you live and believe those things, then you really are exuding passion first. So the very first one is focus on strengths, We just heard from two amazing students who focus on their strengths. And the concept there is that you get better at doing things that you're really passionate about. And the more you practice those things, the more you pour yourself into those things, the better you get. Dr. Morse, who retired not too long ago, has been quoted several times to say when she comes to, she's never actually worked a day in her life because she was very passionate about that work. A very true statement. The second one is exploring your interests. And so part of what we want to do with our students is make sure that, yes, the curriculum is critically important, but getting to know yourself and what you're interested in doing. Mr. Easler is here somewhere, and I think of Empower College and Career Center as being a really, really powerful example. We do that in our kindergarten classes and all throughout the district, but when you really think about what we're able to accomplish with Empower, where students are really able to explore their interest and equally as much figure out things that they don't want to do, things that they thought they might aspire to and figure out, that's not a good fit, but I figured out something else. The third tenet, which is take a stand, and that's really speaking up for yourself. When you know what's most important for you in your life, that you set those goals and that you are your best advocate. And so that you have that self-advocacy. And the last one regarding passion first is be authentic. And when you think about that, it's being true to yourself and doing what is best for you. And I think we just heard from two students who have been true to themselves. They are truly self-advocates. They're clearly on their way to not only exploring their interests, but making those interests happen and turning into a profession. So passion first, without a doubt. If you get a chance, please look online, Facebook, all the different places that we've posted this, because there are students and teachers that are also being recognized this evening for the very, very characteristics that I just outlined. So thank you, Dr. Howard and board, and thank you for our schools for recognizing teachers and students each month who are exuding the 7 Mindset of the month.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholson. Absolutely. At this time, we have a little bit of a unique presentation, and I believe Mr. Farmer is going to speak to us about a couple of folks he'd like to recognize in our transportation department. One's an employee, and one, I believe, might be a student.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Once I learn how to use a microphone again. Thank you, Dr. Howard. I appreciate and board the opportunity to present tonight, and it's always a pleasure to recognize wonderful people. And tonight I get to do that twice because I want to recognize one of my outstanding drivers and also a young man that just really is a role model in our school. And as I dug deeper learning about this young man, I realized that this just didn't happen in high school. It started in elementary school, talking to his elementary principal, and he's just grown into a fine young man, and we always need to recognize that. I believe and firmly believe that the bus is an extension of the classroom. So what we do on a bus makes a big impact on what happens in the classroom. The driver is typically the first person that child sees in the morning and the last person they see in the afternoon. So we tell our drivers, listen, make that impression, make that connection. Make sure that you set that tone for the day and you end it for the day by congratulating them and just telling them, hey, we're glad you had a great day. Say goodbye to them. So if Miss Exanne Schaub will come forward, I probably did not do that last name justice, but I want her to come on up and say a few words about her. She's been with us about 3.5 years, and she's an exceptional person. The thing that I love about this lady is this. She's very humble. She's very quiet. Now, that doesn't mean that she's not stern with her students, by no means, but she does an excellent job in any type of situation that is thrown at her, she's able to handle. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times I'll say, hey, Exanne, can you go run this for me? Can you do that? Can you double up? Can you triple up? Yes, I'm good as long as you tell me where I need to go. And so her attitude is absolutely superb in everything she does. But the reason that she's being recognized tonight is because she has a heart for our children. And she cares about them, and she shows a genuine love toward them. And that's something that comes from within. It's not necessarily something I can teach. I can give principles and guidelines to it, but that comes from within. And Ms. Exanne, on behalf of our transportation department, I just want to give you a token of our appreciation, and I want to say thank you for all the things that you do, from starting at 5 o'clock in the morning to ending at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening sometimes, and even running trips for us, running all day in between. I told her tonight, I said, look, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to embarrass you, but I am going to brag on you a little bit. And she said, okay. She said, well, I'm going to take my change of clothes. I'm not going to have time to go back home after I'm out and get them. I said, okay, I appreciate that. But she is a fantastic woman, and I appreciate everything that you do. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of transportation.
And if they need to talk to me about anything, whether it's something going on at home, something going on at school, or just, hey, I've had a bad day, I need somebody to vent to, I'm here for you.
And it's a true testament to what we want in anybody that deals with children, whether you're a driver, a teacher, custodian, cafeteria worker. We all make an impact at some level, and it's just proof positive right here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Stay with me. Stay with me. All right, Mr. Miller, come on up. You're next, buddy. I'm going to put him on the spot just a little bit, but I think he can handle that. This young man really inspired this award. And this is called our Safe Rider Award. And it's something that we're going to start this year. And it's great to recognize adults, but it's always, always a joy. And I miss this from being a teacher, to recognize students, because that's what we're all about. That's why we're here. We're here because of our students. And I just want to brag a little bit about this young man, as I was talking about earlier. This didn't start just this year. This started when he was in elementary school. It has continued through middle school, and now he's a shining star in high school. This young man is very humble. From talking to his driver, you really have to check and see if he's on the bus, because he really doesn't make a sound or a peep. And that's impressive, especially riding about 40 kids. But he does an excellent job in handling himself in a professional manner and being a good role model. And role models are something that we teach our kids to be. We teach adults to be. Well, this young man, I can take a lesson from him, because this young man right now, he has more wisdom in achieving that and doing that than I did when I was his age. The tone that he sets, not only on the bus, but in the classroom, is amazing. It's something that needed to be stated. And Miss Battle and Mr. Lyles, I want you guys to stand up, because this young lady and this gentleman here have done an excellent job in raising a young man who understands and portrays what a role model all students across the board needs to be, and he represents that. And Mr. Miller, I want to say congratulations to you, sir. We want to give you, on behalf of transportation, we want to give you our first Safe Rider Award and say congratulations, you young man. Thank you. And as they go sit down, I also want to thank the parents for being here. It's always great when I call Miss Battle, and I'll stop after this. I called her and I said, look, I just want to recognize Mr. Miller. She said, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you took the time to call. And it just goes back to the fact that here in Jackson County, we live in and work in one of the best counties in the state, because we get the opportunity to recognize our children for the outstanding things that they do. And Dr. Howard Board, I'm truly humbled, and I appreciate being a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer, and congratulations, and thank you, young man. We are very proud of you. All right, the last item there is just a reminder, and we can firm up on this next week, Board, but we are going to, and this is for our general public as well, we have a fall break coming up. This Board of Education, as I've stated many times, has committed a tremendous amount of time in planning for the future. Spent a half day or more on August the 27th, and they have committed to another day at the end of September to continue to plan for future facilities and accommodating our community based on the growth. And so for that reason, we are going to combine our work session with our board meeting, and that will be on October the 18th here at this location, so we'll firm that up. But outside of that, thank you, families, for being here. We appreciate it. We're very proud of these students and appreciate the support, and I will turn it over to you, Mr. Clarsey.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. The next item in our agenda is public comment. Dr. Howard, if you would read the policy and procedures concerning public comment.
Yes, sir. Be glad to. These are board procedures that are approved based on policy. Any person concerned with an administrative question or issue should exhaust all administrative channels before presenting it to the superintendent and/or to the board. This may include meeting with teachers, assistant principals, and/or central office staff. Second is a copy of the board's policy, which details the guidelines for participation in board meetings, should be given to the approved stakeholder. In addressing the board, the speaker should use the lectern and the microphone and should give his or her name, address, and the group, if any, that he or she represents. He should speak to the board, not to the audience. Presentation should be as brief as possible, yet include all pertinent information. Unless an extension is granted, each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Multiple speakers from a group or organization must appoint a single spokesperson to address the board. Others speaking on the same subject will be limited to 1 minute each. Questions, suggestions, proposals, or criticisms which are presented verbally should also be submitted in writing prior to the meeting or at the meeting prior to speaking, signed by the individual or the spokesperson of the group appearing before the board. Speakers should be reminded as a point of information that members of the board have no authority to act as individuals in official matters. Personnel issues involving individual employees, issues involving individual students, and any pending litigation are not subject for public comment. No profane or vulgar language or personal abuse against any person by a speaker will be permitted. The board may not respond to comments or questions by citizens in their presentations, but may, as their discretion, direct the superintendent to respond on behalf of the board after all comments, questions, and presentations have been taken under advisement. Within 5 working days, any member of the Board of Education shall be free to respond and make public comment at any meeting of the Board of Education if he or she elects to do so. The public comments portion of the board meeting will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. Citizens wishing to address the board will be called in order of information received by the superintendent's office. The board, at their discretion, may call a special meeting to hear additional comments or may ask that citizens speak at a future regularly scheduled monthly meeting. The board chairperson or other presiding officer has authority to terminate the remarks of any individual when he or she does not adhere to the rules of the established above.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. We did have one citizen request to speak tonight and did send their statement ahead. Ms. Amanda Barnett, is she? Thank you. Please come forward. Just remind you to state your name and address for the record, please.
So my name is Amanda Barnett. I live at 886 Dan Waters Road, Commerce, Georgia. I have been an RN since 1997. I have worked the past 15 years as a family nurse practitioner locally. I'm here today to provide our community and Board of Education with a perspective from the healthcare community and to support the current changes our Board of Education has chosen for our school system. A nurse put a patient on a high flow yesterday and sat and cried in the room because both she and the patient knew she was dying and they didn't have the means to save her. This was from a local nurse. They were in a rollover crash. They sat at level 2 trauma for almost 2 hours in the waiting room. At that point, the ER doctor saw them in triage and told them if they had brain bleeds, it would have already caused a bad outcome, sent them home, and told them to follow up with primary care. That's a true story from a local couple before Northeast Georgia declared critical care diversion. We are at a point in history I never thought I would see in this developed, dignified, strong nation. We are at critical mass. Supplies that we are nearly or already at an end of, monoclonal antibodies, BiPAP machines, ventilators, rooms, oxygen, staff. We are at the point of rationing and the agonizing dilemma of how, who, and when to designate resources is approaching. It's from a critical care provider at a local hospital just in the past week. All of these local experiences I just read to you have been shared to me in the past several weeks. These are just one or two. You can see if you have the printed out version I sent ahead. There are more. I'm not a face-to-face healthcare provider in the front lines, but I am a nurse practitioner who understands community health. And as a healthcare provider, I'm required to provide you with evidence-based care. I know that it's hard for you to understand everything that's being put out there. I live in the same world you live in, and I think it is horrible that this pandemic, this public health emergency, has been made into a political and personal rights statement. I know it's dividing people. That's not my purpose here tonight. I want to say from the beginning, I'm pro-vaccine, but I'm not pro-mandatory vaccine. I think everybody deserves their own choice in healthcare. But I do want to tell you that the things you hear from healthcare providers locally are true. Your best chance of not being hospitalized, becoming very ill, or dying from COVID is to be vaccinated. I know that's not the main point of the Board of Education here, but as a healthcare provider who cares about her community and uses evidence-based practice guidelines, I can't stand up here and not encourage you to vaccinate. I want to take just a minute to encourage you to revisit what you think of as truth about the vaccine and what you read on Facebook, and try and pull away from the political part of this.
If you would just try and finish in the next few seconds, that'd be great.
I can try, or I can hand you guys something I printed out. I would like an extension, though, if that's possible.
What? I mean, routinely we have been, but I'll give you another minute if you think you can get through it.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. So, both local hospital systems, Piedmont, Athens Regional, and Northeast Georgia, have begged the public in the past week to please vaccinate and mask up. They are running out of supplies such as ventilators, ECMOs, beds, and personnel. That if we as a community do not change our current actions, we will be making some difficult choices in the hospital settings. It's not going to matter whether you go to the hospital because of a car accident or COVID. It's going to be a bad result. The end results will be devastating to our community and our individual families. We are at this point because of a combination of the nature of this COVID virus, lack of vaccination in our county and surrounding counties, and overall lack of use of tools in the unvaccinated. We have vaccines, we have masks, which there are studies that show that they do work to decrease the transmission rate, and we have quarantine. Only 38% of Jackson County is vaccinated. As much as we all wanted to get back to normal after the surge last Christmas, the combination of not choosing vaccination and yet choosing to drop all of the precautions is why we are where we are right now. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank our school system leaders for being brave enough to try to balance what is best for our students staying in school and what is best for our community. Thank you for using the tools that we have appropriately, for giving the staff the opportunity to vaccinate, for starting contact tracing again, quarantining to some degree. And now that our hospitals are overflowing and circumstances call for this, thank you for mandating masks in our schools again. I would appreciate if you guys would read the entire thing. I skipped a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Barnett. Anyone else wishing to address lodge public comment tonight? I guess here none, we'll close this section of our meeting. We do have a need for executive session to discuss personnel. So do I have a motion to go into executive session? So I have a motion. How about a second? So I have a motion and a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. We'll move into executive session. thank everybody that waited for us. Do I have a motion to come out of executive session? Do I have a motion and a second? Motion and a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. We return from executive session. We're not taking any action. The next items are consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Any members want to have any discussion about any of the items on consent? No discussion? I would like to make a statement. Ms. Wheeler and I have had this conversation, so I'm gonna do my best, Ms. Wheeler, to kind of repeat what we've discussed. The first item on our consent agenda is the approval of the millage rate. And the new millage rate will be 16.576 mills. That millage rate has not been that low since 2001. So we're very happy and excited to be able to do that. Ms. Wheeler was on the board during the last recession, the economic recession and the real estate crisis, and they had to raise the millage several times to meet the needs of the school system. And they made a commitment to the taxpayers, that board, to, as soon as they could lower the millage, they would. And so I feel like we're following through with that tonight. So I did want to say that, and Ms. Wheeler, I don't know if you want to add to that, if I did an adequate job of. All right, thank you. All right, here, no other questions or discussion. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? So I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Say aye. That's unanimous. Passes. And without any further business, we stand adjourned. Thank everyone for coming out tonight.